let's get right to DeAndre Jordan. He accepted an agreement in principle with the Dallas Mavericks. He was going to be their center. And then all of the folks from the Clippers, including the owner, Steve Ballmer, the coach, Doc Rivers, Chris Paul, Paul Pierce, Blake Griffin, they all flew down to his home in Houston and talked him out of it. And last night, DeAndre Jordan decided, Dallas, no, I'm going back to the Clippers. What do you make of this?
I have an emoji happy face on.
A lot of emojis going around last night.
Yeah. Everybody said nothing like this has happened in the NBA. It's never been anything like this. Well, guess what? All three of us remember a night when Antonio McNice was, I'm sorry, what am I doing wrong? Everybody's pointing at me.
Nothing.
Oh, okay. Can I talk? There was a night where Antonio McNice was at an Avalanche game. There had been a work stoppage in the NBA. And Dan Issel was running the Nuggets at that time, and Jason Kidd and Rex Chapman, who was then with the Phoenix Suns, they flew in, got a limousine, came to the old McNichols Arena, and Dan Issel ordered all the security guards to not let them in the building. There was a blizzard they had flown through, and they basically locked Antonio McNice in the room until he agreed that he was going to take a 4-year deal. McNice always regretted that decision. And speaking of buyer's remorse, we've all had buyer's remorse. That's why there's a lemon law in this state about cars, that you can take it back if you go, oh, I don't like it. We actually passed a law in this state. We passed a lot of interesting laws in this state, but in one of those is that you can take it back. He had buyer's remorse. Well, I don't think he made the decision last night. He'd made the decision Monday or Tuesday. They wouldn't have flown out there. But he kept his agent out of the talks.
And we don't have to rack our brain thinking of other local situations as well. The McDice one is a brilliant one. How about Emmanuel Sanders, guys? This is just a year ago. Emmanuel Sanders, the Broncos wide receiver, originally agreed in principle to a deal with the Kansas City Chiefs. Then, after the deal was agreed to between his agent and the Chiefs, the agent then shopped him to Tampa and then shopped him to Denver, and that night he signed with Denver. So this happens once in a while, and locally tends to happen a lot, I guess.
I'll just add one thing. There was a famous Hollywood head of a studio. I think he was one of the Warner Brothers. And he said, a verbal contract is not worth the paper it's written on. And that's what a verbal contract is, that you can't sign them till last night at 12:01. You can't sign free agents, so whatever they said really doesn't count before then.
Boy, he's going to have a lot of fun going to play the Dallas Mavericks, isn't he, DeAndre Jordan?
He will have a lot of fun. I think he should maybe at some point talk to Mark Cuban.
That ain't going to happen.
That was his biggest mistake. Right. He shouldn't have been a wuss. He should have actually called Mark Cuban or reached out to the Mavericks and say, I changed my mind. But he hid and didn't call them and didn't.
Well, and Cuban tried to get him a number of times and he wouldn't pick up.
I have no problem with him changing his mind. That's what the way the rules are written. That he has time, like you said, the lemon law, to change his mind. But if you change your mind and a man offers you $80 million, pick up the darn phone and say, hey, sorry, man, I can't take your $80 million. That's the grown man way of doing it.
That was childish.
It's like breaking up by Twitter. Send him an emoji with, sorry.
That segment brought to you by the Harmony Foundation, Colorado's premier treatment program for drug and alcohol addiction. It's located just outside of Estes Park. They've got a very nice, a very private 45-acre mountain campus. They are insurance friendly. So if you have a problem or you know somebody who might, visit harmonyfoundationinc.com.